Everybody, welcome back to episode 58 or 59 of State of Scrims. You'd think at some point I'd remember what number we're on. I believe it's 59 because awards would have been 58. But anyway, joined by Brewer. I pointed the right way this time. I'm scaling.
I'm back.
But yeah,
Thank
so
you
we
for having
have
me again.
we have a couple series to go over. I think four games that my ass missed because busy life, I guess. Um, I think they're all logged too, which is great. I think we had a lot of signups going on too, which is fun. It's good to see people getting active. I think it's some new players as well. I think Spiral brought in some people, so shout out him for growing stuff. But I
Yeah.
think we definitely want to talk about the playoff series that happened so far. Maybe we even have some takes on them. But I can go over and just cut to that directly, and I will. There we go.
Yeah. So I actually casted both of these series. Guess we can start talking about the one that happened first, which was the Qualmless Chillers versus Albert's Inferno. I guess that was Qualmless as the 2 seed playing against Alberts because BB had chosen to play against Nutbusters. So this is kind of the matchup that Qualmless was just given. They didn't get to choose. Going into it, I was hopeful that it would be, competitive and close. Um, Ultimately, I think it was pretty one-sided toward Qualmless Chillers. Like for game one, I really liked what Alberts did with their draft. They chose
Mm-hmm.
to leave open the Kiana and, in my opinion, drafted a pretty good composition to deal with it. I mean, I thought the Udyr answer in isolation was good. I thought Cassiopeia made a lot of sense. I thought in the end, their draft, they ended up in a situation where they had, Cassiopeia, Urgot, Udyr, all into these pretty low range composition of QC. Um, but frankly, it didn't really matter. I thought Drakkar did a really nice job that game of going top lane a lot. Chow kept setting up for him perfectly, and Drakkar got like multiple kills onto Brian, put him really far behind. And then at that point, they just team fought really well. I guess it was kind of fun to see Rat playing AD carry. Has primarily been playing mid or jungle, but can also play AD carry clearly. I think this was his second time playing it in the season
Yeah,
and
Rat
did
did
really
play.
well. Into Vitus too. So
Rat did play ADC for the surgical precision team, and Bilgewater Brawl helped us get our win. So we did know he had that in the bag for sure. But yeah,
fun
I
to
mean,
see
I
that
think
again.
yeah, part of the draft here is like you have basically every champion here is looking to counter Kiana, and I think the Galio Sivir does do a pretty good job of kind of dealing with everything else that they have. Like Sivir is one of the shorter range ADCs, but with the movement steroid, it's kind of hard to play a shorter range comp into her, especially when she does have the ability to just wave clear super fast and kite things out. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is I remember you telling me that Alberts had counterpick for top lane. And seeing Brian, who honestly has been performing pretty well this season, struggle with a matchup where he got the counter, even though
Yeah.
Drakkar was able to kind of snowball it, I think is definitely a bit unfortunate for Alberts in this game. But we can move
Yeah,
on to the
I
next
think
one if
if
you
that
want.
went a little better, maybe it would have looked better overall. But for game two, they put Teddy in and they put Kai in. So two subs there mid series. They decided to put Teddy mid on Sivir and have Omar go bot with the Syndra. And I mean, honestly, like the bot lane was fine, but the mid lane Sivir didn't really work. I'm pretty sure he died at level 3 to Rat, just got solo killed. And I mean, it was kind of cooked. And
Yeah.
I mean, they also just had a really nice team composition. Like the Yasuo pairs really well with the Gragas. Gragas is so unpunishable that like I thought Brian had a better game two, but you can't do a whole lot into Gragas just as a champ. And again, Drakkar and Rat played really well, and I thought Kage and Paul just played great over the course of the series too. So I don't know, QC on their main roster, which kind of is firing all cylinders, and you got to see the
Yeah.
flex potential at work too. And I don't know, they just looked good. And Albert's just, I'm excited to see them go up against Metabusters later this week, but it just wasn't their best showing in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Alvarez versus Midwestern should be pretty good. I think definitely the roster spot mid series is going to hurt you a little bit. I think Hong probably wouldn't have gotten solo killed if he was coming off cold and had played a game before going into that one. I mean, obviously hard to tell that for sure, but I always think that's a factor. And yeah, it was interesting to see Kage just get to match up in Omar in both games. I don't know if that was intentional or if it just happened to work out that way. I'm uh, not sure how obvious it was that they were putting Sivir mid. So I think it probably wasn't that intentional, but just interesting to see it work out that way. But anyway, I think we can move into New York Nutbusters, and we were talking about main roster coming out for QC. We do have an off roster coming out here for Big Bananas. They were running Bappo and Nishan here instead of Nishan and Taxi as their normal solo laners. They tried to run Bappo top for his main role in the first game, and then kind of gave up and swapped back for the second game. And we also saw, I think this is a new roster for New York Nutbusters,
Uh,
at least in terms of the positions they chose, where they're
yes.
running PB 80 carry and Alana support. Previously, I think we'd seen Daniel top and then Blake and PB bot lane with Alana mid. So this was kind of a
Yes.
cool permutation coming out from NYMB, which I think went really well with Mike playing the double AP junglers. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, this was a fun one. I mean, I was excited for this series. BB was the first seed. They got to pick their opponent. They had just beat Nutbusters in a pretty dominating 2-0 fashion just a couple weeks ago. So, they selected them again to go up against. And that's always kind of fun. You get picked. You kind of want to prove them wrong. Like, hey, you shouldn't have picked us. And they came in with this kind of, as you said, different strategy. We had seen these five before, but we had not seen this setup. And I think into Big Bananas, it made a lot of sense. I think it was really smart. If Big Bananas has like a weakness in their early game, it's definitely their bot lane. Like they've been doing a good job of, not like losing games and like being relevant, but like they don't lane particularly aggressively. So I think they recognize that, hey, if we put like what we think would be our three strongest like top side solo lane players up there, we can match what BB is usually excelling at, which is top side, and then bot lanes will just kind of, even out or go good for us. And so I thought, putting Alana in PB bot, having PB just draft Caitlyn, and with the Nami both games, they both played really well. Um, they're not going to get punished by Archived and Eden, and they did a good job of just kind of punishing them and getting CS advantage. And then on the other side of the map, you have Blake, Mike, and Daniel, which is an amazingly strong top three. And yeah, to be fair, like they didn't have Taxi, and I do think that hurt them quite a bit, particularly in my opinion. I think it made it a lot harder for them to draft. I think BB's had really good drafts this season, and without Taxi, they were a little more limited there on like champion pool and what they wanted to do. But I mean, I think this strategy could have easily worked had Taxi been there. I mean, I think it was just smart. Like we're gonna match your top side with our top side, and they just played really, really well. It was fun to see Daniel finally get to play some mid, since I know that is like his primary role, and he's kind of just been the great sub for them, willing to play whatever's needed. But to get to see him perform on his main role was really fun, and um, yeah, I mean Blake and Mike just playing at the best of their games too.
yeah. I mean, I think Nishan and Bappo are both incredible solo laners, so I don't think it's a huge downgrade in terms of Taxi. I think in terms of draft, though, I know he's super knowledgeable on that. So I think it could be that they're having trouble drafting due to champion pool, but it could also be that they're having trouble doing draft just because one of their main like draft coordinators is missing. And yeah, it's great to see Daniel at like not even just play, have a great series. Always fun to see newer players to the server get to do that. But and I mean, I just want to say it here. This is what happens when you snub Blake off all scrims. He gets pissed and shows you why he should have made it top. Like we're putting Nishan over this guy. He gaps the fuck out of him. Enough said. I don't know. I mean, he was my personal vote for number one, and he didn't make it on the list at all. I think that question is answered now. Like, he is up against the number one team in the league in terms of initial standings. I don't think there's a single top laner in the league that's shown that they can stand up to Blake, so we're going to have to see how that goes forward, especially when he plays against QC. I somehow doubt that they're going to run Scott Pilgrims and get him the chance to actually fight it out. But basically, no one in the league has had an easy time gapping Chow. If Blake's able to do that, I think Some serious voters' regret might be coming in for some people, potentially deservedly so. But NYMB putting a statement out here. I think it's a bold move generally to choose the third place team as an opponent, and they certainly let BB live to regret that one. I think people have loved to throw asterisks on series this season, but come playoffs, hey, scheduling is what it is. You're just going to have to deal with it. Everyone's had to in past seasons. So I don't know. NYMB showing up on the day where it matters. They're also running a roster that I presume they have not gotten much opportunity to practice with. And probably same for BB, although I know that they've been able to that they've been practicing with a variety of rosters there too. But yeah, I mean, just well played to NYNB, and we get to see the NYNB and QC rematch, which has been a long time coming. And I mean, that's one that I've been personally excited for, and I don't know if a lot of people thought we were going to get to see it. I think BB and QC were generally predicted to come out of the first round on top. So that's a big upside going forward. And it does set the stage for our next matchups, which are going to be the BB versus RS rematch. That's one of the series that we've seen most recently. And then Albert's Inferno and Metabusters, I feel like, was also kind of towards the end of the season. Both of these happened in the last couple weeks of the season, and we get to see those run back, see if either team has made major strides of improvement. Albert's was able to defeat Metabusters, but I feel like with how good Metabusters has been looking recently, I think maybe they could toss that back the other way. And I know Metabusters was not particularly happy that the decision of who won the tiebreaker went up to that series, so they get their chance at a comeback here. And then QC and NYMB is going to play not this coming week, but the week after. And they will play at the same time that the winners of those two previous series play, which should be exciting. And then that would leave us with 2 more weeks left to playoff. So we still got a Laza season left. That's 4 total weeks of games to look forward to, but that's just a preview. I think Mason and I actually hopped on a call a while back and ran through our like full bracket predictions, and I think mine have actually been spot on so far. I think I did ego a little bit and said Ripsharks was going to clap BB the first time, so obviously we would win this matchup when it occurred, but we'll have to see if we can change things and actually get the upset here, and then we'll get back on track there. Mason had predicted 2 wins in a row for BB, them clapping QC, so that is not on track. But anyway, I think we can probably cut it over to Based or Baked. I know that's what a lot of people are here for.
What's your prediction then? What's your prediction on the other series?
QC and NYMB, I'm going to just wait on, but I feel like it's probably going to be a QC win. I'm going to wait until next week to actually give my prediction on how many games. But Inferno versus Metabusters, I feel like when I was doing the bracket run, I said, I don't care who wins that. I got to be confident and say we're going to beat them. I don't actually think I ever gave a predict on that one. But I mean, just having gotten to scrim Metabusters a little bit more, and since we both had that break week, I think I've just been in more contact with that team. I think I've been kind of more hopeful on them. So I'm going to lean towards Metabusters 2-1, but it's very hard to count out Albert, so that's a tough prediction for me.
Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be a super close one. It'll probably depend on what rosters run for me to give a true prediction, but yeah. I think both teams have looked good. Metabusters could easily have been in the top half. I think that's Tuesday. So the Rift Sharks series is first. That one's Sunday. Both the lower bracket series should be really fun, though. Definitely want to tune in.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's give the people what they want.
Yeah, I will. Okay. Baked or Based again. We love it so much. I hope we don't get fucking eaten alive again, because that was
about to get rage baited so hard, but I'm here for it. I've been stewing all day.
Okay. This is the one that we did not cover last time because I said it was negative. It's still negative. But here, let me change the font size to the correct size. I feel like we've been doing 20, but Mason haters need more numbers. They still don't get enough hate. I think after BB loses, maybe that's not true anymore. That may have been true last week, but I feel like now that they've lost a series and the doubters are out, I think maybe that's more accurate. But I don't know.
I'm gonna say Bake just because I think Mason has ample haters. Like I do not think there's a shortage of Mason haters. There might even be too many at this point.
That's fair. The steak was good. It just needed to be submitted like a month ago, and then you would have cooked, I think. Um, okay. This one's a good one. I saw this one when we were paging through last time, and I think there's a lot of fun discussion about this one. And it is, if Rat and Drakkar don't win this season, they will never win in Scrim Zone ever. And I'm assuming this is a haha point system take, and not a comment on either of the players themselves.
Well, maybe
I
it's more like your team is so good if you can't win with this team, you know.
Okay, that's true. That's true. I don't know. I think I'm a little against that interpretation of it because I do think they came in with a set of players and stuck with those set of players, and I think not getting the resources of getting to choose other players that are more established in the Scrim Zone and like just kind of sticking without them, I feel like you can get other opportunities to win by mixing up rosters. There are plenty of people who came into the server and didn't win immediately and then were swapped around, like PB and there's definitely other people that were on that new NYMB roster, but anyway, like they swapped around a little bit and then ended up on a different roster that they ended up winning with. So I definitely don't think it's like joining with a certain set of players necessarily means those set of players are the best for you. But I definitely see like the point system angle of, hey, these two players are going to be so hard to build a team around after they've had such a successful season going forward. I think individually, both of these players have a huge chance to win. I think if they're willing to split up and get picked up by other teams that are in need of free agents, I think we could have a Rat versus Drakkar finals next season, which means that one of them would for sure win. I do think it's going to be very hard for them to win as a duo because I do think it is going to be difficult to build a team around them, especially like the season after this. But I mean, I think anything can happen. So I think this is a little bit of a baked take, unless the whole concept is as a duo, they're going to win now, or it's going to be really hard for them to win later, and they're going to be kind of more solved as players after the first season. But I don't know. I'm open to hear your
For me,
interpretation.
it's a baked take. It's pretty simple. Players that good are always capable of winning. That's my opinion. Baked take. Now, can they win together after this season? As you just said, maybe it'd be too impossible to field a competitive
Yeah.
roster if you're trying to run both of them. That's a different discussion. But just as it is written, if they don't win this season, they could definitely win in the future. I mean,
Oh,
it's possible, unless you ban them.
so true. I have somehow lost our. Oh, there we go. Cool. If you can just like wave your hand in front of the camera, you're out of focus. I don't know if that would do anything. Oh well, we'll have Fuzzy Grewer. I think you're at
Fuzzy
such like a
Grewer.
low size anyway that it doesn't matter. But it's funny because I
I'll
look over to
turn it
my
off and
my
turn it
left.
back on.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll help.
Oh, yep. Perfect. Okay. This one's interesting. A no bans allowed, but still draft pick tournament would be a banger. So not blind pick like Frostbite is in the early rounds, but still no bans, so we get to see the one tricks come out. I definitely think that could be fun.
Oh, I think that could really be fun. Yeah.
I
It's not like
think
it's not blind pick. Like you still
yeah,
know what you're picking, and if you take something early, you could still get countered. But just like a weekend tournament or something would be kind of fun. You get to see a lot of these champs that are usually not available.
yeah. I
Banger
don't know. There
take.
could definitely be a world where we do. Actually, I don't know. I'm not going to put this one out there for sure, but I definitely could consider doing Fearless with no bans as a possible format just to try out and see how that goes. So
Oh, that
it's
could be fun.
that could be
Okay, yeah.
interesting. I don't know how we would do that mechanically, but yeah, I think that could be entertaining. It is unfortunate that draft law has been The advanced options no longer work because that was letting me do all sorts of fun stuff when I was monkeying around with setting up drafts that way. But I don't know. Unfortunately, website doesn't work the same as it used to. But yeah, that could be interesting. Definitely a lot of ideas out there for draft. I think once the season's open, I'm definitely going to open up some discussion on what we want to see in terms of draft ideas. We were hoping to run that summer league and try some stuff out there, but unfortunately, there was not enough interest in that. Okay, next take. It's not about Rift Sharks, but it is about a team, so that's exciting.
Finally.
SKT will go winless next season too if they don't make significant roster changes. Define significant, because if you think just if you swap out one player on their roster with a better player that would hit the point cap, I think they're a competitive team. I'm not going to name what player it is. Most people could probably figure out what I'm talking about. But if you count that as a significant roster change, then I agree. I think that's a fair take because I think you do need to improve in one of your roles. If you don't count swapping out one player as significant, then I think this is baked. I think they have a very good core of a team, and I don't think there's that much improvement needed across the board in order for them to win a series. Like, we're not talking about anything crazy here. Like,
that to win one series when they were already close to winning multiple
yeah,
series.
like they got 4 or 5 games. Like, they got a game in most of their losses, I think. So
this is a little too hater energy.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be hard. I don't think it's a guarantee that they're going to win a series if they don't change their roster. But I mean, I think there could be something that does not count as a significant roster change. Like, say if you need to change player A that's here and to player B up here, and you end up changing to player C who's halfway in the middle, I still think you get a series. I don't think they end up being like competitive at the top, but they have a really good core and all the players on the team are very solid. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Daniel isn't sub of the season, but sub of the year. Does this mean that Daniel subbed in season 9 and I forgot about it?
I don't think he was in the server season 9.
Okay. I'm not sure I understand what the take is then.
I think they're just saying he's the best sub, hands down.
But they said isn't sub of the season.
Like, he's so much beyond that, is how I'm reading it.
So some of the season would undersell him. I'm like wondering if he's up for like Bilgewater or something, and I like did forget it. I was just missing out. But
no, I think this is just some hyperbole.
Well, I don't know. I will counter with the fact that Hero was in the pool for subs and did win by a huge margin. But I mean, no hate on Daniel. But
hey, Daniel has come in and had carry pop-off games in 2 roles, so top and mid. And he did it in the playoffs, so
that's
definitely going to gas that guy up. But
yeah, I might have to say this one's baked, but that's no shade on Daniel, just compliments to Hero. I think that was a well-deserved first team there. Unless you want to override me, but
no, you can take that one.
All right. Okay, this one aged like fine wine.
Yeah.
BB without Smolder does not beat NYNB. I mean, like, I don't know.
I mean,
like, it's technically true, but I don't know if Smolder's the reason here.
Smolder was not the reason why they won. Smolder was the reason they won so easly, but is how I'd put it. Especially the game 1. Smolder into Malzahar is unplayable for Malzahar.
Is this one a baked? Or is this
You can decide.
I feel like they probably still could have won without using Smolder. I thought they weren't going to pick it in the second game, and I thought they were still going to win that. But I mean, do I just say based because they like correctly predicted the playoff series? I feel like I have to. Sure.
Why not? Yeah.
Congratulations to whoever called that one. Okay. This is a taxi take if I've ever seen one. But calling mage bots unskilled and most of their kits are skill shots is some grade A ADC copium. So on one hand, yes, I don't think they're unskilled. But the reason why people say that isn't because they think their kits are easy. It's because they have favorable matchups in so many of their matchups and it's uninteractive. Because when you're
Yeah,
playing
it's
a
like
mage
they're
bot with a support, you don't have to lane per se. You can mostly just play uninteractively, and you mainly just have to know how to play around getting dove. Whereas with ADC, most of the time you do have to kind of auto trade with people, and that's something that does get removed when you're playing mages. So I can see both sides of it. Generally, mages are harder, like kit wise, but I don't think that's what people mean when they say mage bots are unskilled.
um yeah, I think mage's bot lane, like the laning is super, super easy. You basically just on pretty much all the popular ones. If you don't want to interact in lane, you don't have to. So it's a great neutralizer, especially when you
Yeah.
feel like you're going up against players who maybe you don't want to have to trade heavily with. I do think mages are certainly like not an easy class of champions, like as a whole. There are
Right.
some mages that are fairly easy, but I think when you're not playing in them in mid lane, it can be a little bit easier in bot lane because you can have a support make up for a lot of your weakness. And you're also just not playing up against champions that can punish mages like in the early game as easily. Like,
Right. You have no assassins being played. Like maybe a pike sometimes.
but if
I
your
don't know.
support is good, they can
Right.
then neutralize the pike, and you really still are not even punishable.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's like so funny to like see this take and then you like think about it and you're like, oh, like they're talking about like Ziggs just sitting under tower and pressing Q every 2 seconds. Cause like, yes, it's skill shots, but also Ziggs is throwing most of his skill shots at the minions, not at champions during the laning phase. So I don't know. I think I gotta go with this one being baked. And this is like as a bot laner, like I guess I've mained bot lane for a majority of my league career, and I have not ever hesitated to play mages. But every time I do, it is turning my brain off. It is not as difficult as playing ADCs for sure. Don't know.
Fair enough.
I'll hit on that take. Meta busters can't draft without AI. I mean, this one's baked as fuck. I don't know. I mean, like, from like the perspective as someone who like was near Jacob in person during their drafts last season, like the AI tool would recommend shit and they would ignore it like most of the time. Like that was not like the
I
joke
think
is, oh my
they
god,
played
are AI draft tools outbraining you? That like never actually fucking happened.
I think they played the meme up a little
Yeah.
bit. But we hate people that use AI for their drafting, so based. That
Fair. Fair enough. Am I cropping right here? I am. Cool.
it's
Okay.
more true last season than this season.
Another fucking Dean support take. Dean needs to put the support in the bag. Baked. I don't know. Do you want to see my pike back?
Can we just not even talk about this one? We discussed this to length
I will just
last
delete that
week.
one. Goodbye. Blue side is underrated and underutilized, and some teams should prio it more. This one's a tough one because the advantage of blue side is getting to first pick stuff, and you only really need to first pick something when it's contested. How many contested picks do we have in Scrim Zone compared to most other like realms of competition? I think it's a lot fewer. So I think blue side does have diminished value. I think there's a couple people who will choose, excuse me, red side every single game. That's wrong. I don't think that's right. But I think
Yeah.
generally, unless you have a pick that you actually want to contest or force another ban out of the enemy team, I think you don't want blue side. But I don't
Yeah,
disagree that there's some teams who don't take it when they should.
I would agree that it is underrated and underutilized, but I think just quickly is kind of the reason for it, as you've kind of said. Um, we don't have the same ability largely as like a collective server to just like first pick the OP champion on the patch and turn that into an instant win. And frankly, as well, um, players on this server do not have the ability to just blind pick champions as easily and not get single-handedly punished to the point you lose the game by a red side counter. So sometimes like not giving your mid or top counter can just like screw you, whereas like at a higher level of gameplay, those people can kind of go even a little bit easier. So I do get why red side's so popular, but I do think as just generally, yeah, it is underrated and underutilized. So base take.
I like wish we had metrics on like how often which side was getting picked, but I don't know. That's my fault for not having that. Next take, very related. Everyone still doesn't know how to draft. I we
This
definitely
big
have a
take,
lot of
this
bad
one, I don't
drafts. I
know.
think not everybody knows how to draft, but that doesn't mean that everyone doesn't know how to draft.
Big take or Kim Fog or something. I don't know. Like, yeah, we're not all drafting perfectly. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are like 3 or 4 teams that have like absolutely cooked in draft the majority of the time. I mean, I would say our team is one of the ones that had some rough ones for sure.
Oh, we've had
But
terrible drafts. Yeah, we've
yeah.
like single-handedly lost games off draft. I think like some of the teams are drafting really, really well as a whole. Um,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, but I don't know.
Jesus Christ. Forcing players onto tanks is the worst thing that you can do. In parentheses, let Mason play the Vayne. I'm going to ignore the second half of the take and just look at the first one. I would argue against this one. I think it is unfun sometimes to be forced onto tanks, but uh, as a player who often does get forced onto tanks, I think it tends to let the team win in a lot of situations. It is, well, not impossible to win with no tanks in your draft. It certainly does make it a lot harder, and there's some comps that you just straight up really struggle into if you don't have any tanks on your draft and someone needs to play them. And if you have 5 non-tank players on your team, I think it gets quite hard. Like I think even if you look over at BB, because that was the team that was called out in this example here, Eden's never playing a tank. The ADCs are never playing a tank. Taxi might once in a blue moon play Galio, but you're not going to see that normally. And Nichan is going to maybe play a set game once in a while, but otherwise is usually not going to play a tank. I think we saw like a Scion or something come out in my series. But Mason playing tanks makes a lot of sense on that team, and I think it's given them really good results. While Mason might not have the greatest Nautilus KDA of all time, I think the contribution Mason makes to the team, even with a bad KDA, is still super significant. I can definitely get behind the like don't force someone to play a champion they don't want to. But if you do hit the spot where it's like you want to win, at some point team comp does need to be considered. But I don't know what your read is on that.
I basically agree with pretty much everything you just said. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, don't force anybody to play something they really don't want to. I mean, at the end of the day, but sometimes, especially this season, it has been shown that if you do not draft a composition that is up to a certain level, the level of the play with all the new teams that have come in, just the new players, it's kind of, I feel like, I don't know. I felt like when I first joined the server in like season 6, you could get away with some pretty silly drafts and just like out hands people. But at this point, the general level of the server's gotten so high that if you don't draft to a certain standard, you can kind of get screwed. And so sometimes, yeah, I think you kind of have to look at your comp objectively and be like, yeah, unfortunately, we need a tank here, or we need an enchanter here, or we need something else. But I will say, Mason's team definitely needs to unlock Eden so that we can start seeing things like the Ari and the Zoe support, particularly this
Yeah,
next
particularly
weekend.
against us on Sunday.
Yeah,
I want to
like
see
Mason
Ari and
just
Zoe
bullying is
support get
crazy.
played.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. The text wasn't white and it was hard to read. I did not realize that I had a slightly gray color selected instead, so I'm fixing that. Uh, okay. Oh my god, this fucking Rylai's is good on Morgana is the take. This is because Fujer played it mid and didn't build Rylai's. I don't fucking care. It's good. It's
Yeah, who gives?
useful.
Who
It's
cares?
not needed. I think this one's just like a milk toast take. I don't think this means anything.
This is just delaying us getting to the fun takes.
Yeah, I
Kim
think this one
Foggett,
just
move
gets
along.
fucking
I don't know. There's
sure.
games where I think it makes sense. There's games where it probably doesn't make
Right.
sense.
This is like X item is good on X champ. Like I don't know. Like that's not a. I don't even think Fujer said it was a bad item on Morg, just not one he builds when with his playstyle. Okay, what the fuck am I reading here? They had a stroke mid sentence. Fujer is the best, second best mid, and the second best mid laner in the tourney after Rat.
Who's
um,
typing this?
how do I? Okay, Rat Fujer
I
is
think the take is Boozer is the second best mid laner
yeah.
in the
I just
tournament after
yep
Rat. That's
yep.
the
I
take.
okay. Whoever put this one in, what did you do? Genuinely concerned. No. I mean, I think there's some argument for it not being Brewer. Um, I think if it's not you, it's Taxi. I think Fujer's probably fourth. I think Fujer's probably a solid fourth. I feel like he's over Lithi, over Omar. If you want to count Alec, I feel like Alec could compete with Fujer.
Yeah, I mean Boozer's been great. I don't want to like sit here and give a tier list, but
Right. I mean, maybe I do.
yeah, you can.
Yeah. I'm forgetting players. Sarverus, I think any other season is top
Yeah,
three.
that's
I don't know what happened there.
the
Moved
fall
on to
off.
better things in life, improved his overall situation. Good for him, honestly. What other team am I forgetting? There's a team that I just completely didn't even mention their mid.
You're not talking about Lithi.
I thought I said Omar and Lithi already.
Oh, did you? Then you're
Yeah.
forgetting.
Oh my god.
I think you've named everybody then.
Omar, Lithi, Fujer, Brewer,
Oh,
Rat,
Nutbusters like
Taxi.
Alana.
Oh, Alana. Okay, yeah. I mean, I think Fujer's probably better than Alana.
We can
Yeah.
remove the probably.
Sorry, baked.
It's a
Um,
it's a tough competition at the top. I think it's really close between everybody.
what the fuck is this? Rumors of Brewer and Sarv reuniting and Dave getting benched. Brewer confirm. I don't need a.
That's
Is
not even a
this
take.
happening? Have you even heard
Not
of
even a
this
take.
happening?
I have heard of it happening. Who knows what'll happen?
I guess this
I'm a
one's
popular guy. I
a
get
chem plug.
DMs.
Oh, we will discuss this one privately on stream. I think this does not make sense to do from a captain's perspective. If that was a roster proposition I was given, a world where Dave gets benched is not a world where I want to live in.
But my ADC is so good though.
Oh, you're saying Sarv going to ADC. I thought it was
No,
just
no,
like a U
my
ADC. Your
ADC is so good. That's what I'm saying.
That's so true. Probably not as good as Dave's. Sorry.
Fair enough.
I think if this is like a Brewer mid Sarv ADC comeback arc, I think okay, that's an easier sell. But we need to get Mythic off the bench too if we're doing that.
True. Mythic really was the linchpin of that team.
Okay. This is this one's a long take, so I'm going to cut off the back half of it, but I will read it out loud for whoever put it in there. QC Alec is the best mid laner in the league and is very handsome IRL, parentheses, true, parentheses, independent fact checkers say true.
Alec is great.
I
Baked,
think
move along.
I think if he were the best mid laner in the league, his own team would be running him over Rat. considering
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
he's cheaper. I
yeah.
do like Alec though, and I did just shout him out. But
He's been great. Do not get me
yes,
wrong. He's been excellent, but
I will put
not
it
the
in
best.
baked, but I won't put it all the way over to the left, just so we know that I agree with it a little bit. Can we do that?
That seems fair. He might.
Um,
I'll give you. He's the best Azir. He's the best Azir player.
oh, Evergreen would disagree. He can catch a stray. I don't fucking care. But yeah, no, he's good. Let me double check that he actually is. Yeah, yeah, he is definitely cheaper than Rat. I think if his own team agreed with this take, he would be getting run over Rat. But sadly, okay, we have another QC take, and this one is anti QC instead of pro QC. QC Ribbons Aphelios is overrated and it is not worth a ban ever. That's fucking cap.
Yeah, that's cap.
Like,
Baked. Baked as fuck. We're hating to hate.
don't want to see someone succeed on their own champion. Like, I don't know. Maybe this is like a joke take and they want people to not ban the Aphelio so it can get through and see Ribbons perform on it again, but I don't know.
That's a baked take. Not much else to
Oh,
say.
okay. This one's a banger. Fujer is MVP. Stream watcher. Hell yeah.
Based. Extremely based.
Yeah. No, Fujer in the stream chat is always a W. Fujer casting, honestly, also a W. But okay. Team success is, oh my god, this is a perfect take. This is exactly the shit I want to read. Whoever put this in, 18 pats on the back, you're the best. Okay, team success in Scrim Zone is based more on which team's 2 to 3 weaker players outperform their opposing counterparts than which team just has the top performing player. And I think this is absolutely true. Look at the top 3 teams this season. I think people were doubting on Kage, Paul M, Chow. Insane seasons. Do they stack MVPs and have highlights every play or every game? No. Have they been fucking cooking people that they weren't expected to? Absolutely. Look at NYNB. Same is true for Alana. Alana was one of my top candidates for most improved this season. I didn't convince enough people to get the votes there, but I think Alana not getting absolutely slammed as much as it happened last season is a huge reason why this team has bumped up. And BB, I think the same can be said about Eden. I think Eden had a much more consistent season than he did last season. And I think Eden outperforming expectations for Fruitcakes last season was also a reason why Fruitcakes had so much success. So this is a based from me. If you have anything else you want to add, sorry, I got a little keyed up on this one. I
No,
love
these
people
are the kind
shouting
of
out
takes we want.
the whole
Actual
team.
discussion can occur. This is a really good one, and I agree. I think you just talked through it, and I think this season is just an example of that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You kind of talked through it. All those players have been playing great. I think if you look at seasons in the past, these teams that have won and found a lot of success. If you just look at like the teams that have won every season, we've talked about, even that team I was on with Starburst and Mythic. Like Mythic is like a bronze or silver player, and he was playing as good as anybody. And like when you have those players playing at such a consistent level, it allows your other players to flourish. And yeah, I definitely think that's a base take.
Yeah, W to whoever put that one in there. Um, Rat is carried by Drakkar. I honestly have not seen enough of their games intently where I was watching for this to have a good read on this. You did just cast their last series. Do you think this is accurate? Do you think his Yasuo performance in game 2 was only so good because Drakkar Silas was there to back it up, or do you think it was good on his own? You've also laned into him.
I mean, Rat is individually as good as anybody in the server, I think. Is Drakkar the best player on that team? Probably. I mean, he's like Grand Masters, and and also, Rat was on the winless SKT last season, so
Oh,
we're
so
bringing that
true.
up. But
Fraud.
that you know, um,
I think this one's baked.
I think yeah, it's baked though. Rat is too good individually to say that he's getting carried.
Sadly. Funny though. Um, this one's another heater. Apari is a top half jungle in the server. He just has weaker lanes. Okay, let's make a new document for this one. I'm just turning it white. I didn't mean to turn it white. There we go. Okay. Let us make a list of the junglers in the server. We have Mike, we have Jar, we have Blind, Spiral, and Psycho Carrot. We'll lump those into one category. We have Apari, because we're talking about him. We have Albert. We have Snow, and I'm not gonna add Noam in there. Noam only played one series jungle. Am I losing my? Oh, we have Drakkar, and I'll slash hero because I think that counts. And again, I'm forgetting a team. I think 7 is the limit of my mental capacity because I always stop.
Wait.
It's Albert's. No.
No, that's 7 because of Pari. Or no, you already have a Pari. What?
Wait, am I actually I have Meta Busters?
Albert. No, we have Albert.
SKT. I have Albert. I have us.
Jonah.
1T. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I'm looking at this. I think I would say the top 2 in here, I'm just gonna merge this down. I'd say the top 2.
It's a clear top 4. It's a clear top 4.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna do it step by step. So okay. Hold on. Let me remove the alpha. Drakkar / hero, obviously number 1. I think the all scrims voting was correct. Oops. Oh Jesus. Snow, we'll also say is up there. Mason was the one that was contesting for this the closest, which again I think is reasonable. So the argument here is that Apari is better than Mike, Jonah, Albert, Blind Spiral, and Psycho Carrot, which I do not think is true. I think if you really intensely try to make the argument, you could maybe. I think Honan and Sam S, insanely good lane. I think Lithi, very good lane. I think it's tough to argue that, they're that much worse than the lanes that these people are like. This team at the top, Blind Spiral, Psycho Carrot, sure. Rift Sharks has better lanes than SKT across the board. I would say that's reasonable. Looking over at Albert's, I think that varies game to game. I think their lanes are kind of on par with SKT. But I feel like you could also say that Apari's looked slightly better than Albert overall. Maybe you can see the argument there.
Yeah, I think Apari has looked better than Albert.
With how 1T's looked this season, I'm not sure I'm willing to say that 1T's lanes are that much stronger than SKT's, but that one's kind of a close discussion. That one you could have a whole debate on, but looking over at NYNB, across the board, I don't think their lanes are that much stronger than SKT's.
What was the take? He's top half, or?
Yeah, he's top half, and his lanes are holding him back.
All right, I don't know if the lanes are holding him back. And if he's right there in the middle. Like if he's top half, he could be top half. He could not be top half. He's right there in the middle. I don't know.
I feel like
Mike is Mike is clearly in that other group of 4.
Yeah,
Mike's way more in that other group that you moved to the side than he is. In the
I just think SKT's lane strength is comparable enough to NYNB's that it completely sauces the take.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I mean, Alana just gets permanently weak-sided with a very predictable draft plan, which does, and not being able to play around mid is a pain point. And I feel like Lithi is super easy to play around with her champion pool. And I feel like that, I don't know. I just feel like if that's the angle you're approaching it at, this is a big take.
Yeah, it's a big take.
I mean, Apari is definitely not eighth jungler. Apari is close to being top half jungle, but definitely not the lanes holding him back. Top lane is the weakest Role this season. It says weakest position group, but I think that just means role this
Like
season.
weakest group of players.
Yeah.
Um,
That or support. It depends on
it's
if you
not
want
mid
to.
and it's not jungle.
Yeah, if you want to look at it as like who has the best overall players, I think support beats top lane that way. Like I think PB and Sam has clear. I do think there's a like fairly solid fall off after those two. Like top lane was at least like a 3 players considered, whereas support I feel like did have a big drop off after the top couple players.
I think Bean's still there.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going off voting. I don't know if I
Oh,
personally agree. I think top lane was a lot more close than the voting was as well.
no, fair enough.
I don't know. I'm just saying I feel like there's a fair amount of teams where it's like, oh, we can just target their like bot lane because they have a weaker support. And I feel like most people aren't like, oh, just like camp the fuck out of top because it's a free win. Is my logic there.
I think it is the weakest. It's close, but I
Yeah.
would say it's probably the weakest.
Okay. We can base this one then. God, why am I getting so many texts? It's all group chats too. DND, please save me. Okay. Okay. Noam has been a top 2 bot laner this season. Is this there were points in the season where he was a top 2 bot laner, or is this he was a top 2 bot laner the entire season overall? Because I don't know. I'd put Noam at a solid 4th, and I think there's a lot of flexibility around the top 3. I don't think I personally would have
Um,
put one of the awarded players in my top 3 personally, but
Noam has been excellent, and I think you could argue it, but the volley competition is really tough.
yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to say this one's baked. I think Noam's good. I think
Yeah.
Noam is a top half bot. I don't think Noam is a top 2 bot. There's a margin there for sure. This one's a fun one. Rift Sharks or Meta Busters will make the losers run into finals. Sure, we'll say it's based. I think we could debate this and say if we believe it or not, but I think it is hype to push this narrative.
Based.
Metabusters
Based.
did it last time. I'm confident enough in my team to say that we could do it this time. Whoever loses out of QC or NYNB is going to be tough competition. BB is going to be tough competition. It's not going to be easy for sure, but definitely doable. And it's exciting to think about.
Yeah, why not?
This one aged like milk. Alvarez Inferno comes out of the winners bracket on top.
Fog.
Sorry, just have to
Just
delete that one. You submitted it and we
Fog,
were
move
too
along.
too late. Okay, now we're on to this week's takes. PB
Finally.
had the best ADC performance in playoffs so far. You casted the games. Is this based or is this baked?
Wait, it was PB versus. Why am I blanking already? It was PB versus
Archived.
Archive. Okay, PB was better. What was the
And
other
it
series? It
was
was
Rat, Kage, Omar, and Vidus. Does he beat all 4 of those?
he does not beat. No, it's baked. It's baked. He does not beat Rat performance going up against Vitus, or even Vitus in that game going up against Rat. PB did play freaking
Sorry, PB.
amazing though. Do not get me wrong. I'm not trying to say he didn't.
All right. BB missing the MVP standings is not robbery. What?
Oh, I think they're just saying BB not getting more all scrims is how I would assume what they're trying
Okay.
to say.
Because I was gonna say I weren't Nishan and Taxi both in the top 5 MVP voting.
I think they were. No, I think the only way this take would make
Yeah.
sense would be if you're saying they didn't get enough all scrims
Okay.
consideration because they
I
only
will
got
say
one.
BB didn't get robbed in awards, which I would say is based. I think for the most part awards were accurate. I think you could make an argument for Taxi getting second, which didn't happen. You can make an argument for Mason getting second, which didn't happen, but I
That's
mean,
about it. Yeah.
I think Nishan over Scott Pilgrims personally, but I think Blake over both of them. So I feel like Blake was the biggest getting robbed up there. I don't think any of the other spots they really deserved anything they didn't get. So if they did, it wasn't a huge robbery. So I think this one's
Yeah, no,
based.
I agree. What was interesting to me, I mean, I guess it's definitely probably less first place. Like usually the first place team would definitely get a couple more people, but I think that just goes to show how competitive this season was. And I don't know the facts on this, but like the fact that all 8 teams had at least one player on the all scrims is like that's awesome.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
so
think
cool.
that also goes to show how competitive the season was. I mean, to have every single team have some representation, that's really cool.
Yeah, I think we've had that happen before, but well, I just tabbed to the wrong thing. But yeah, no, definitely fun to see it. I love every time that happens. Okay, moving forward. BB will end in 5th place. Hashtag Grewer Gang. Based as fuck. Thank you. Rift Shark's
Oh,
positivity happening.
whoever put that, thanks, I guess.
Um, okay, NYNB Lift is 6th man of the season, dying on this hill. Well, someone else said 5th man of the year. This one's season. We kind of had the same take earlier.
Honestly, I think you could have argued he was, but he didn't get the same amount of games that Hero got. It was
Right.
clearly Hero based on
Okay,
the season.
since
If you want to
this
sit here
got
and say,
since this got submitted after the playoff series, though,
oh, I mean, hey,
I
he
feel
came
like
in and did it when it mattered, I guess.
yeah. I
But
mean, we were split on the earlier one, so maybe we just go this one based.
yeah, why not?
Yeah,
We love Lift.
yeah. If Daniel gets to keep playing in playoff series, I think there's a huge argument for that. We will see. Um, NYNB roster against BB beats QC main roster. Okay, there's a whole server of people that knows the answer to this question, but does Daniel beat Rat in a 1v1 mid? And that I think answers the question here. But I don't know if any of them are in chat. I don't know if you've even been watching chat because I know I
I
haven't
have been
been.
watching chat. The chat has been very active. So thank you, everybody, for the activity. You pissed some people off with your top lane take.
Which one? I've had a few.
There's a lot of Scott Pilgrim's defenders in the chat right now.
Play more games. That's all I have to say. If Scott Pilgrims had played against either of the other people I view at the top and beaten them, I would instantly shut my mouth.
Well, he did play against Nishan.
Okay, that's true. That's fair. He didn't play against Blake,
And
though.
we,
And I
we
think
call
Blake's
that one the
number one.
Vladimir incident.
Oh, wait, Nishan did beat him, didn't he?
Yeah, he kind of
Okay,
did.
then you guys shut the fuck up. Like, I'm sorry.
It is unfortunate we didn't get to see Blake versus Scott
Yeah.
Pilgrim. So
Either
that
play
is
more
very...
games or
Hey,
don't lose to
yeah,
the people that I say are better than you. I don't know.
QC, just answer the question yourself and run Scott
Yeah.
Pilgrim's game one this next series. Like, let's
Yeah.
see it. Do it on the Rift.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna say this one's baked. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it just baked it though. Like, yeah.
I
mean,
think QC is just the best. I mean, I don't know. I think
until
it's gonna be
yeah.
hard to prove otherwise.
Let's see who beats them before we say anybody's gonna beat them.
Okay. NYNB versus QC semifinals and finals. Calling it. Oh, they're just saying like this will be the finals. I'll just do
Like
NYNB
loser
finals.
will make it back to grand
Yep.
finals, basically. Um,
I mean, I think this is also based. I think it's hard to have the losers bracket run take be based and this one be based, but I think they're both supportive takes that I could definitely see happening. So I'm willing to
sure,
go
why
for it.
not? Yeah, sure.
Okay, and then let me do a time check. Okay, we have time for like one or two more. Oh my god, this is a fucking paragraph. Sure, we'll just go a little over and end on this, and then we'll try and get another one of these in because I still have 30 takes left. I'm not
Yeah,
saying MVP should be like NBA, where it's the best player on the best team. I don't even think that happens in the NBA. but I do think MVP should go to someone who at least has a positive win-loss ratio on the season. MVP is for player who has the highest impact on winning. If your team loses without you and wins with you, you're a good candidate. If your team loses either way, you can be first or second team, but not MVP. I do think MVP should go to someone who has least positive. Okay,
Holy
I'm gonna
fucking dissertation.
cut that
Okay.
out. I so it says MVP is for the player who has the highest impact on winning. I don't think this, like, I agree with that. I don't think it necessarily contributes to your take. I feel like the view I've always heard about MVP is it's the player where if you remove them from their team, you see the largest negative gap. I think if we remove Brewer from Rift Sharks, our team looks like SKT. Like, we do not win a single series. Like, we get dogged on all the time. Like, Evan has crazy performances, but usually when Evan has crazy performances, it's because they're investing draft resources and game resources on stopping Brewer. Same can be true when other people on our team do well. I think the reason that Drakkar and Rat did not get MVP is because they played 11 games. Maybe that's a hot take, but I think that's really what it comes down to. I think you can make the argument for Nishan or for Taxi, but I feel like BB's entire top side is very equally balanced in terms of skill. So I don't think one of them really has like a huge MVP argument over the other, considering you saw all three of them come in the top 10. I think it says a lot that Brewer was the only person on our team that was even in the top 10 of MVP voting. I don't know. I think, at least from my perspective, he has been completely central to our team, and we do not have a chance in the world without him. And I don't think the same could be said about any of the other candidates. So I would say that he has the highest impact on our ability to win. I think it's hard to measure that because we haven't run any series without him, but that also says a lot because he is so vital to our team that we will not run a series without him. Look at QC. They've won games and or series without Drakkar and Rat present. If they were so vital to their team's ability to win, they would be run every single time, every single game. End of response there.
End of rant. I'll just say, let me think of what I want to say. As a whole for the award, I do kind of think, like, when I'm considering who I vote for MVP, I don't consider it just like best player. Like, if you lined up every single player in a list and you tried to say who's just the best player, that's not how I personally vote for MVP. I do think you have to consider like their impact to their team and otherwise. I was not expecting to win it at all. I
Yeah,
wasn't
I
even necessarily
also,
expecting to be in the top like 2 or 3. So I was surprised. I'll defend myself a little bit, I guess, just since we got the take, but I don't know. The people voted for it, so
right.
anybody that voted for me, I
Yeah.
appreciate you, obviously. But I like, when I wanted in the past, I was not surprised. I was surprised that I was even like top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I think if you look at the stats on the website, like, my stats are as good as anybody's, even when in the losses. Really good stats. I think I do think, you said the other top 4 are like Drakkar, Rat, Nishan, Taxi, and it's like, okay, you just
Yeah,
named
I hope
4
that's
people
right.
from 2 teams, so they each have a MVP
Yeah.
candidate as their teammate. I think that's something there.
Oh,
Um,
it was Omar, not Taxi. Taxi was in 6th,
okay.
but still,
But
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
not a
ultimately it
big
is moot.
difference.
Like, Drakkar would have
Right.
won had he played more series because, as you said on the thing, we were tied and it came down to like a final vote. If he played 3 more games, he probably gets another MVP, and then he gets a point from just like getting the game MVP, and then they would have won. So I do
Yeah.
think it also did in large part occur, because they just didn't play that many games. But
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
mean, that's
Ultimately,
like
it's what the people voted for, so
yeah,
I appreciate everybody's vote.
if we're referencing NBA here, which we have introduced by mentioning it, there's also eligibility rules in the NBA for what percentage of the games that you've actually ended up playing in, or like what threshold of games you've played. And I think Drakkar and Rat would have been disqualified based on those criteria. So, LOL question mark. But I don't know. I mean, I think Nishan, Omar, Snow, Taxi, all good nods. But yeah, I mean, I think there's individual reasons why each of those players didn't uh, end up winning, and I think a lot of it does come down to consistency. And as Brewer said, I don't think he would have been my choice right off the bat either. But clearly, the people voted for him. There's a reason that he ended up winning. Um, I don't know. I mean, I disagree with a lot of the. I don't know. I mean, I've made my case for some of the awards that I disagree with this time, but ultimately, the people who get the votes are the ones that deserve it. So I don't know. Always fair to discuss
Democracy.
it, but I don't know. Props to Greer
Yeah.
for winning. I don't think he would have gotten it if it wasn't deserved. But anyway, I think we're gonna call it there. We will see when we have time to crunch through these 29 remaining. Oh my god,
Dylan
wait,
is
this one's so
begging
funny.
for
This
his
one's so
take in
fucking funny.
chat.
This one's so fucking funny. I have to do it right now. People who put in really long responses for Dean to parse are weird. Fucking based. I just had to read a paragraph. GG's.
Hey, well, that just tells you that no one put in the previous one, but because he knew that one was coming up. So there we go.
All
But he's
right.
outed.
See y'all.